evening and welcome to What's Your Story? I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. My guest's story began in Africa, in a place known as Liberia, a country steeped in history, rich in tradition, and magnificently culturally diverse. His name, Won-Ldy Paye, reflects the origin of his background. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. My voice kind of getting out. But thanks for inviting me. I hope we are able to cover some of the things you want. And I like your title, What's Your Story?
Well, thank you so much. Well, why don't we start by talking about the masks that are on either side of us and the one that's right here on the table. I'm sure our viewing audience would really like to know what that's all about.
Well, the thing about Liberian masks and most West African masks, when you think about masks come in three categories. Oh.
That's quite all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so all masks come in three categories. There are masks that look like people. So common name is people masks.
People masks.
They look like people.
All right.
The masks that look like animals, we call them animal masks.
Okay.
That's the big classification, people, animal. And the third is grotesque.
Ooh, grotesque.
Grotesque means abstract.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to say, scary.
Scary.
You know, but the purpose is not to scare. The purpose is the artists don't want it to look like people and they don't want it to look like animal.
Okay.
It could be a combination of people and animal, or it can be a completely something you've never seen before. So when you think about West African masks, especially Liberian mask, people mask, animal mask, grotesque mask. So in front of us, a few sample. When you look at this, you see eyes, nose, mouth. Sometimes you see hairdo or hat, beard, earrings. That's a person. So that's the first physical feature you see. You say, oh, that's a person. Then it fits that category, people mask or person mask. Mm-hmm. The mask to the left, when you see it, it does have nose, it does have lips, but then you like, tubular eyes, round eyes. People's eyes don't look like a big opening.
Yeah.
That's a little abstract. That's a little unusual. Even though it has a little person characteristic, then you say, oh, that's grotesque.
Okay.
That's weird. That's a little bit scary.
Okay, all right.
So we say, then that's grotesque mask. If you look at this in the middle, you see a beak. You see kind of like a little crown or something on the chicken head. You say, that's a bird. Then you say, that's an animal. So it's very easy, if you don't know about African masks, that's the first thing, look at what does it look like? Does it look like a person? Does it look like an animal? Or is it weird? If it is weird, grotesque. If it looks like an animal, animal mask. If it looks like a person, person mask. So that's what you see here. This one that looks like a person belongs to entertainers. So you could be a storyteller, maybe a musician, maybe you are dancers. So in the villages, when you're in a village school, you learn the skill of your parents. If your parents are entertainers, then you belong to that fraternity.
Okay, all right.
That's your logo. That's you, okay? So they would dress in costume like this and come and sing with a musician or dance or perform. And the reason it looks like a person, and when we say it look like a person, that means you have shirt, you see the arms, you see legs, the characteristic of people. So you can't be telling story and we don't see arms and legs, and you don't look like, you're weird. You don't look like person.
Right.
So you have to have that person characteristic where the family, the kids, the mom, dads all see legs, arms, thing, and you wear it in your costume and you're performing. So you wear that costume, you come, you entertain people, people come to see you, and that's how also it brings the villagers together. Free entertainment, no one pay traditionally to see mass. No monetary value or unit is between a performer or the art and the people who owns the art. There should be no monetary unit. In fact, when I first came to the States, I went to a museum where they had an exhibition in Washington, D.C., the African American Museum with down masks. And then for the first time when I got to the door, I'm like, oh, there should be no money traditionally between me and my mask.
Yes, yes.
If I'm going to pay, that kind of separate me from my tradition.
Absolutely, yes.
You don't pay for your tradition. That's who you are. That's part of me. So I did pay because I was in a different culture. But then I approached one of the curator and I said, well, I just want you to know because someday somebody will come and go, I can't put money between me and the mask.
Yes.
I'm a Don.
Yes,
That's my mask. You should just understand that. She go, you are right. You can be our guest, she said. So then I ended up not paying to give me my money back.
Wow.
And because that's what art is. We have to understand, no matter where the art is, understand too where the art originated and why the culture of value. And if museums or gallery are supposed to educate, then you have to think about traditional value too and educate that along
That
with
is a real excellent point.
And don't just put because you want to
that is really
make money.
That is an excellent point.
Yeah.
You know, I would have never thought of that. But of course, I didn't have that traditional background.
Well, that's true.
That's why. You know, Liberia is directly connected to a particular president of the United States and the issue of slavery. Would you please explain that connection to our audience?
Okay. The case of Liberia is unique in many ways and is kind of also devastating in other ways.
Yes.
During the emancipation era in the United States, when blacks were being free, we knew there was a problems where white folks don't want blacks who were being free to just move into neighborhoods with them. They also, if you are free, from the tradition where the tradition here says whites were better than black, and now you're freeing the blacks, and the very people who you say you are better than them now have to live with you. That was a big problem here. So some churches, some members of U.S. government and black organizations decided this is going to be a big struggle for blacks being free to migrate or move into white neighborhood.
White society.
White society.
Yes, yes.
And then also the case was, if you were my owners, I was slave to you, why would I want to live with you?
Yes.
I want to go far away from you.
Yes.
I don't even want you next to me.
Yeah.
I want my complete freedom away from all your institution.
Yes. So
that's how Liberia became a country to repatriate free blacks to Africa in 1822. That started. So Africans, Americans, blacks who were free did return to Liberia. But because the government was part of it too, they came with whites. There were whites, government officials too, because the ship, like the Mayflower ships, were owned by whites. And whites saw it too as a business. You know, so even though you're going to free the blacks to go,
let's make some money.
Let's make some money. You can get grants from the government. We'll take them back. So it was a business. So whites were coming, and if they're going to come, blacks are going to take their ships. They're going to use their ships to bring black folks. That's a money-making thing. Then also religious folks, white and blacks, thought, "Ooh, we're going to go with this group to Africa to save the heathens,
bring salvation to the heathens.
Yes. So all these were at play. But then at that time too, even though the U.S. government pretend that we freed the blacks, but the idea of a colony was also in the back of some of the officials here. Well, we're going to have a place in Africa.
Yes. rich in wealth.
In wealth.
Yes.
So U.S. government here need to kind of be there too, because at that time the British was powerful.
Yes.
U.S. didn't have the power, but wouldn't it be nice if we're going to have a little chunk of land in Africa?
Where's our colony?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So anyway, that's how Liberia was founded, with the whole view publicly that to be a land for the free blacks, but all the other stuff were part of that ingredient.
In fact, the capital, Monrovia, is named after James Monroe.
There's Buchanan, names after Thomas Buchanan,
Okay.
a county.
All right.
If you get to Liberia, you see. If you get to Monrovia, you see Johnson Street, Broad Street, Brewersville, all those little streets that African American once lived around, or one news store. They brought the tradition because that's what they know. The groups that came knew about America, so they brought the tradition of America with them. They even brought the tradition of farming with them. They brought the tradition of building. If you're around in North Carolina in the South, you see they will build these bungalow, these houses. It has porches that go around. And the houses are raised up on like maybe a foot or 3 feet of bricks. There's that style. I've never been a Liberian style. That style was brought by the African Americans to Liberia. So if you're in Liberia, you see those houses where it's raised up.
You already know.
You already know that. Oh, those are all what we call the African American settlements, or we call them the Americo-Liberians.
Oh.
So Americans and Liberian put together, Americo-Liberians.
Wow.
So that's the name of that particular group. When they came, they became what we know as Americo-Liberian descendants. So Americo-Liberians are that descendant of the group of African Americans who came and they settled along the coast. Because Liberia being tropical, rural area, the rainforest was pretty harsh.
Yes.
To them who
not used to that.
Not used to that.
Yes.
In fact, many died because of the mosquito, the malaria diseases.
Yes.
You know, and even the hostility from traditional people, from the tribal people.
Yes.
You know, so the coastal area is where you see Bensonville, Tubman-Burr, Johnsonsville, Monrovia, Buchanan, Harper.
Okay.
Those are all names. Maryland, we even from Maryland, you know. Virginia, those are all the towns, you know. So they all named after the towns they grew up in here.
Now, I said in my intro to this program that there was a rich tradition in Liberia. Now, could you please explain to the audience, like, your father's background, your mother's background, your grandmother's background, and tell us how each background affected what was expected of you and how you were supposed to be as a young man. Let's start with your dad. Okay. What was your dad's profession?
So my dad was carving mass, drums, wood carver.
Okay.
From a wood carver tradition.
Would it be called a carpenter, or?
The carpenters, they make doors, they make, you know,
they
make
woodworking.
Woodworking. Okay, so they were woodworkers.
Okay, all right.
Okay, utensils, things, everything that have to do with wood, they can make them. They can make them.
Yes.
On my mother's side, they are artists like weavers, make baskets, painting, but they were rice farmers. We from the rice farming region. Okay, because rice was our main source of food. So they made rice. So it's expected me as a kid of the Paye, the son of Paye. So they won't call me Won-Ldy Paye, they will call me Won-Ldy, the son of Paye, because I belong to the Paye family. Okay, so that's my official name, Won-Ldy, the son of Paye.
All right now.
Okay, so Won-Ldy, the son of Paye, is supposed to go follow the traditions of the Paye. We mass people, we do mass, we do carving, we do the costume, we dance in the mass, you know. We are storyteller because you wear the costume to perform and tell stories or educate kids. Because in a lot of the tribal school, the teachers, you don't see the real faces. They come in costumes. Yes, because they don't want you to say that, oh, that's my dad or that's my mother. The school belongs to everyone. So no moms or dad, they're only people in costume. So in traditional school, you see costumes, people in costume with faces. So I'm supposed to do that. My grandmother was a storyteller.
Gowo.
Gowo, okay? Gowo, which means the voice of a leper. Go is leper, will mean voice. That's Gowo.
Okay.
Traditionally, in the traditional sense, when most women start to have kids, they kind of fall out of the tradition, the profession.
Yes.
But my grandmother was unusual. She continued telling story. But my grandmother also knew about traditional herbs, medicine, like a medicine woman. What leaves you can walk in the bush and pick.
Yeah, we're going to get to that too.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So those are her skills.
Yes, yes.
So, and it's real typical to have a kid living with the grandparent. So I was given to my grandmother. So between the age
6 years old?
6 through 11, 12,
Yeah.
I lived with my grandmother. So while I was with my grandmother, I'm studying all those traditions of storytelling. I travel with her, I spray her mat down, and my grandmother, she called the lady who sits on the mat.
All right.
That's her school. That means you never see her perform without the mat, standing on her mat. That was the magic about her. So sometimes people want to come see the lady who sits on the mat more than the story, because it's a myth about this lady only sits on mat.
Okay.
Or staying on mat.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I heard those stories growing up, days after days, nights after nights, my grandmother installing those stories in me. Traditionally, my older brother's supposed to be the one taking over the family tradition.
Yes.
But if the family figure out the older ones is not really interesting in it, because they say it have to come naturally.
Yeah, right.
And naturally, it means you have to love it.
Yes.
You have to do it without
Thinking about it.
Yeah. I always tell people, I say, you can wake me up anytime and say, get up and perform, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Yeah.
You know. So my family figured out, this kid, I think he's the one. Because you don't have to tell him, it's natural. He just does it. He does it in the rain, he does it in the heat, he does it in the day, in the night.
He's ready to go.
He's ready to go. So they decided, Won-Ldy, you're going to be the one to take on the tradition of storytelling.
The storytelling. Now, did anybody think you should be a rice farmer?
Well, rice farming is something that's part of the tradition.
Oh,
so
yes.
So you can't tell story if you don't eat.
That's right.
So,
if you don't eat, you're not going to tell any story. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So we all learn about the rice farming. I mean, I know how to completely. If you give me a little land, I can plant a rice from beginning to end. I know all that skill. I can build a roof, a house from trees. I can cut all the trees in the bushes, put them together, put all the clay and mud for it, and put all the thatch roof. All that skill, I know that. But to me, storytelling was it. Forget about being a rice farmer. Forget about all those carpentry and woodworking. I like people. I like to stay in front of people and see eyes on me. Hundreds of people looking at me.
You're a performer.
Yeah. So that come. So I decided, you know what? I took that route. And then people start to see it. They say, well, he's a performer.
Now, how hard would it have been for you to ignore your destiny, so to speak?
Well, it was, first I decided being a male kid.
Yes.
Why would I want to be like my grandmother? Because you see that play in my head too as I grew up.
Yes.
All my friends who are boys, they are carpenter, they are doing masculine thing.
Yes, yes.
And then I'm gonna just stand and talk.
Yes.
That kind of a little bit in the tradition is. So I kind of started deviating away from my grandmother, away from all the performing thing, because I want to be masculine, you know.
Sure.
Do things I see my father doing, great hunters, great carving tools, doing that. But actually, to push the story forward, I kind of started performing in the capital city. Because it was easy way out too, you know, easy way meeting the girls, easy way meeting friends, easy way being popular for a younger teenager.
Look, entertainers are popular everywhere.
Yeah, you know.
Yep, absolutely.
So even though I don't like it,
yes,
But
Yes.
it comes naturally.
Yes,
The
yes.
National Culture Troupe, I'll go to the center, and there was a couple of radio drama shows that got me.
Wow.
People, because when they see me, they're like, he's good.
Yeah.
The kid is a performer.
The kid is good.
Yeah. But then then my parents said, well, you have to go to English school, because when the end of a lot of colonial rule in Africa,
Yep.
English schools started to become it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a farmer. You want to move into the government. Since Africans now have their independence, but they have the taste of the Western life.
Yes.
What being a government is, what driving a nice car, you know.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Won-Ldy Paye. Are those traditions still in place in Liberia today?
Oh yeah, if you go to well, here's the thing about Liberia. Do you know in Liberia today, about 60% of the population cannot read and write?
60%.
That's big. That means a lot of them do not go to school. But that part of the poison too that kind of came out of the African American descendant too who came to Liberia, they segregated themselves from traditional people, from the indigenous people. Because the African American descendant, which is another whole story, they have mastered the skills of the slave masters here. They know the farming, they know what it is. So when they came to Liberia, they kind of separated themselves in many ways from the traditional people. So traditional people, we were not allowed to go to a lot of the English schools. The English schools were for the African American descendants and their kids.
Yes.
So that also helped to put Liberians down. All the traditional Liberians too don't want their kids to go to English school, because when you go to English school or Western school, then you don't want to be a farmer again.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't want to go back on the farm.
Yeah, you don't want to
No.
go back on the farm. Nobody
No.
wants to send their kids, leave the rice farm and send them to school, because they're not going to come back to help the family, because the family depend on the family's skill and profession for living.
Yeah, for living.
And
Absolutely.
if you pull the number out, the population start to dwindle, and then there will be no one coming again to,
no
you
one,
know.
yeah.
So that was part of the thing that keep a lot of traditional kids from going to school, because their parents want them to stay at home.
Wow.
Another thing was, nobody trusts your kids with what we call foreigners.
Yeah, there we go.
You're not part of my family.
You're not part of my
I'm not
family.
going to give my kid.
I'm not giving you my child.
No one, like what we do here in the West, where we take our little 5-year-old, 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No.
Nope, we don't trust them.
Let's hold it right there for part 2, all right?
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for part 1 with Won-Ldy Paye
Thank
from
you.
Liberia. I hope you enjoyed so far. That's all for part 1. Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time, I'm James Ransom Reed Jr., your host. Stay tuned for part 2 of Won-Ldy Paye.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models, from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.